Hey YouTube, Coppersan here. It's time to train the Remastered Explorer hero to level 200. This class is at least 10 times better than what it used to be. Their grinding is pretty decent right now compared to before, and their damage is still going through the roof, just like before the Destiny update. I'm going to use a Burninator coupon on this character, so to make sure that I have to do the least amount of effort, I'm going to quickly reach level 11 in between the Explorer story segments and then use my burning coupon. That way I'll end up reaching level 197, which makes reaching level 200 just go slightly faster. This account has about 1k Legion and only a handful of level 1 and level 2 link skills, by the way, so I won't be using that many link skills or any 8k fat Legion to boost my damage. We are of course going to use the burning equipment rewards. This is actually on my 0 to hero account, and I guess we actually made a hero now, so I guess this account is officially done. In the first job, Explorer Warriors now learn most of their mobility skills. The upwards charge has been moved to first job, which takes away any mobility problems that you might have. Warriors do not have their own up jump, they have to use attack plus up jump or the skill by itself to actually go up in the air. And you can also use leap attack right after that skill to fall down faster. Warriors mobility is unexpectedly good in first job compared to most of the other explorers. After that insanely long Explorer tutorial, we reach second job. I think we're going to get the skip function for the tutorial and story in the August update. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but I think that's when it's gonna happen with part of the Battle Maple. But let's say you're doing the second job advancement and you accidentally misclick page and you do actually become a fighter and intend to become a hero. Well, then I have some good news for you. Second job heroes are pretty great right now. Brandish has gotten a bigger hitbox, which is nice. That's your main mobbing attack. But the biggest improvement that fighters have gotten is their new skill, Flash Blade. This skill allows you to zoom to monsters and it's freaking amazing, okay? You can even use the arrow keys to target monsters in a certain direction and then zoom that way, and it only has a 4-second cooldown. Fun fact, when this class was still getting remastered in the test client like half a year ago in MapleStory Korea, there actually wasn't a cooldown on that dash skill, which was super crazy. A bit too crazy. I think the 4-second cooldown is kinda justified, else it would just be too good. But yeah, really good mobility for the fighter already. The weapon mastery passive skill that you get in second job increases fighters' that damage when they're using an axe. So I would recommend going for a two-handed axe when you're leveling this class. The weapon attack speed formula on two-handed weapons got changed a few months ago, and they can now easily hit the attack speed cap, which makes it better and just easier to use two-handed weapons. You can still go for a one-handed sword or axe and shield if you want to, but shields would require to get a lot of Star Force to compensate for the higher base damage on two-handed weapons. I'm not sure about endgame, but if you want to have an easy start, definitely go for two-handed weapons. Also, just so you know, if you're kinda bored of those combo orbs floating around you, you can right-click the skill to turn off the combo visuals. Third job is here and the fun continues. Thanks to your combo synergy skill, Crusaders get more final damage per combo orb that they have. This class gets some of the craziest final damage boost in the entire game, but let's check back on that once we reach 5th job, that's when we get all the boosts. The Interpret Slash skill, which is your main mobbing attack with 3rd job, has gotten a bigger hitbox as well. Grinding used to be very tough on this class before the remaster, with their skill hitboxes being like super small, but no more. And you still use your 2nd job Flashblade skill to fly to enemies. Heroes can now also debuff enemies with their Scarring Sword debuff, and combined with our Chance Attack skill, they can deal increased final damage against monsters affected by this debuff. 3rd job hero goes hard, and thanks to their now excellent mobility and bigger hitboxes, they can grind about anywhere. Any map is fine for this class. Plus, if there are any monsters that are too far away for you, you can just send out your new Beam Blade attack that you can also steer in different directions. Man, leveling this class is just too easy right now. Remember when heroes were tough to level up because their skills were so tiny? Heroes have really high base damage, but the small hitboxes they used to have were always their biggest weakness. But for some reason, the developers decided that explorers don't really need any weaknesses anymore. Now they just have amazing hitboxes, improved mobility, and they still deal an insane amount of damage. Alright, let's enter the 4th job advancement. Your main attack, Raging Blow, now is always enlarged when you hit your max combos, and because none of your skills now consume your combos anymore, you're basically always in your enraged state. Oh, and those orbs now also increase your final damage even more, because, you know, being OP is not enough for heroes, they need to be super OP. Grinding with Raging Blow is nice, but after a while I learned something even better. Grinding with Puncture. This skill only does 4 lines of damage, but it does 50% more damage against normal monsters, and enemies who aren't one-shot get a debuff where your critical hits deal more damage against those monsters. The skill's hitbox is even bigger, which is great for grinding on taller maps with multiple platforms, and this skill has no cooldown or anything like that. I actually preferred grinding with this skill compared to Raging Blow, at least up to level 200. By the way, the debuff also works for party members, increasing the damage on their critical hits by 10% for them. Their Magic Crash skill can remove debuffs from monsters, and together with their Spirit Blade buff from the second job that boosts weapon attack, this class even can give out some small party buffs. Wow, how kind of you, hero. With their level 140 hyper skill, Cry Valhalla, they can boost their attack, critical rate and status resistance. Plus additional attacks will pop out every now and then when the skill is active for 30 seconds. This skill does have a 120 second cooldown. Their level 140 hyper skill is called Rising Rage, and this is a big attack that does big damage with only a 10-second cooldown. Beam Blade and now Rising Rage all have relatively short cooldowns, so if you want to make sure that you can keep track of all of those, make sure to add them to your notes so you get a pop-up when the skills are off cooldown. For the passive hyper skills, I went for Advanced Combo Attack Reinforce for even more final damage, and the one that increases boss damage for every combo orb. I got the plus 20 attack buff on the final attack passives and got Raging Blow Reinforce and Extra Strike. For your inner ability, heroes on the first line always want plus 1 attack speed. Level 200 has been reached. Time to beat up this old dragon man again for the job advancement. When bossing, heroes have their Enrage skill active. This skill reduces the amount of enemies you can hit, but increases your critical damage and final damage. This is a toggle skill. You use this always when you go bossing. We're 5th job now and the picture is just complete. You get a skill called Sword Illusion, which does a bunch of damage and only has a 30-second cooldown. The skill World Reaver is your invincibility frame, damage booster and damage dealing skill. It's just everything in one go. You can use it every 20 seconds and it boosts your final damage for 5 seconds after using it. What I usually do, I first use this skill to boost my final damage and then use Sword Illusion to boost the damage of that skill by a ton. The skill Burning Blade unleashes an additional attack, plus you can install the additional blade that you spawn on the ground to attack monsters by itself. But do keep in mind that if you move too far away, the sword will come back to you. And there is Instinctual Combo, which gives a massive damage buff to your damage and unleashes additional attacks, because why not? This skill is your bread and butter when it comes to bursting bosses, with the only downside that the skill has a 240 second cooldown, which is a minute longer than most burst skills of other classes that have a 3-minute cooldown. Both Instinctual Combo and World Reaver boost your final damage even more. This class might lack critical rate, critical damage and ignore defense, but their final damage is absolutely massive, making this a recommended bossing mule once you have enough Legion and Link skills to boost your critical rate, critical damage and ignore defense, and you know, boss damage and damage all the regular stuff as well. With all skills active, heroes can boost their final damage to over 700%, which is really high. This class is very potent, but does have lower base stats, you know, critical rate, critical damage, that good stuff. So do keep that in mind. Heroes make amazing bossing mules for those who already are a bit more established with their Link skills and Legion. Their 20-second invincibility frame is great to survive unwanted one-shots, but can be tricky sometimes to time properly. This skill does take practice to learn. Heroes mobbing has improved tenfold. This class went from really bad mobbing early on to very decent mobbing now after the Destiny update. Also, their mobility has been improved massively thanks to their second job skill that you dash to monsters. Absolutely amazing. Getting the hero to a bossing mule level is very doable and very easy right now. What do you think of the remastered hero yourself? Let me know in the comments. And that was all for today. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, many thanks to our members for making these videos possible. Thanks to Niels de Coninck, Raar, maar waar, Sebastian Hanoy, Ryalias, Terry Kim, Vareese, Cowdy Mora, Wiley, Historycanon, BackSpaceOTI, Saffronyx, Anwar, NHI, Ziggy Flidiot, Knifesu, Chen125, Cloudfix, Gusus Rodriguez, Froggy, Vyra, Trevor, Michael Manchaka, Ratius, Justin Vale, Silvio Nato, Stevie Zhang, Afterlord_MS, ceemak, Striker Elk, Tidal Pun, Victor Sundstrom, Radical Jaws, Riser RU, Gummy Bullet, Lovebird, Sir Tito 655, Mathias Simonsson, Mr. Narc, Galando Belavia, my name is Coppersan and I'm super cute XOXO, PC Game Life, Dante Victory, Stanislaus Xumo Vegas, Swap to Bish, Road to level 235, 30k stat, exclamation mark reboot, The Passenger, Martin Panzik, I'm disappointed, Lucky Beats, Gable Eck, Pedro Benetti, Conrad Castales, Ace Light, Ben Wolf, Max Bernhardt, Doc on a Talkabox, Muka 1017, BNB King, Scotty Flies Fast, Priscilla, Brandon Cam, Shake1, Vague Botnet, Feco, and Gianfranco Calderon Canavero. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe and happy mapling!